The facial recognition system flagged something unusual about your transaction from yesterday. It seems you were in two places at once, the bank security director said, sliding two screenshots across her desk. My twin brother Nathan sat beside me, still wearing my exact outfit down to the vintage Rolex our father had given me, confident his perfect impersonation had fooled everyone. But what made my hands shake wasn't seeing myself on camera withdrawing $1.2 million I'd never touched. It was the timestamp showing he'd done it while I was live on national television, accepting an award 3,000 miles away. Nathan shifted in his chair, that practiced look of concern still plastered on his face. We'd perfected that expression in the mirror as kids, along with every other mannerism that made us perfect doubles. Same brown eyes, same slight scar above the left eyebrow from when we crashed our bikes at age 7. Same way of tilting our heads when thinking. For 34 years, we've been each other's reflection. There must be some mistake, Nathan said, using my voice. He'd always been better at impressions. David and I haven't pulled a twin switch since college. The security director, Ms. Vasquez, wasn't smiling. Mr. David Chen, you were at the Forbes Innovation Summit in New York yesterday at 2:47 p.m. Pacific Time, correct? Yes, I confirmed, accepting the Technology Pioneer Award. It was live-streamed. And yet, she turned her monitor toward us. Here you are, at that exact same moment, at our San Francisco branch, withdrawing $1.2 million from your investment account. The image was perfect. Nathan had worn my charcoal suit, the one with the barely visible wine stain on the left cuff from last year's Christmas party. He'd styled his hair exactly like mine, down to the way I always had that one stubborn piece that stuck up in the back. He even mimicked my slight limp from the marathon injury that never quite healed right. Identity theft is a serious problem, Nathan said smoothly. Deepfakes are getting incredibly sophisticated these days. Indeed they are, Ms. Vasquez agreed. Which is why we've upgraded our security systems. The facial recognition isn't just about bone structure anymore. Mr. Chen. Nathan Chen. Nathan's expression didn't change, but I saw his jaw tighten. Our tell since childhood. I'm David, he said. No, she replied, pulling up another screen. You're Nathan. Our new system measures micro-expressions, capillary patterns, even the way light reflects off the cornea. Identical twins might fool the human eye, but they can't fool biometric analysis that detailed. She clicked through multiple data points on her screen. The person who withdrew the money yesterday had a resting heart rate of 72 BPM, captured through our thermal imaging. Mr. David Chen, your medical records from your recent executive physical show a resting rate of 58, consistent with a marathon runner. The infrared scan also showed an old filling in the upper left molar. David's dental records show that tooth has never been filled. Nathan laughed, but it came out forced. This is ridiculous. You're accusing me based on heart rates and teeth. And retinal patterns, Ms. Vasquez continued. And the fact that when David entered his PIN, he used his left hand. David Chen is right-handed. You, Nathan, are ambidextrous with a left-hand preference. I have your Little League records here. Southpaw pitcher, quite talented apparently. I watched my brother's facade crumble in real time. We'd shared everything growing up. Clothes, friends, even girlfriends who couldn't tell us apart. But somewhere along the way, sharing had turned into taking. Nathan, I said quietly, just tell the truth. He turned to me, and for a moment, I saw us at 8 years old when he'd broken Mom's vase and begged me to take the blame. At 15, when he'd stolen Dad's car and asked me to cover. At 22, when he needed my ID to take the SAT again after failing his first attempt. The truth? He laughed bitterly. The truth is you got everything. The brains, the business, the billions. What did I get? To watch my reflection become everything I couldn't. You had the same opportunities. No, I didn't. He slammed his hand on the desk. You think being identical means being equal? You were born 3 minutes earlier, and somehow that meant you got to be the responsible one, the successful one, the one Dad was proud of. Ms. Vasquez cleared her throat. Gentlemen, we need to focus on the matter at hand. Mr. Nathan Chen, you've committed wire fraud, identity theft, and forgery. The FBI has been notified. Wait, I said. Can we handle this privately first? She looked at me skeptically. Mr. Chen, your brother stole $1.2 million. Which hasn't left the bank yet, right? I guessed. Large withdrawals like that have a processing period. 72 hours for international wires, yes. The transfer to the Cayman Islands account is still pending. Cayman Islands, of course. Nathan had always dreamed bigger than his ability to execute. Cancel it, I said. Return the money to my account and let me handle my brother. David, what are you doing? Nathan asked. What I always do, I replied. Cleaning up your mess. But this is the last time. Ms. Vasquez shook her head. Mr. Chen, I appreciate family loyalty, but this is a federal crime. We have obligations. To protect your client's assets, I interrupted. The money never left. No loss occurred. If I don't press charges and the bank has no damages, she considered this. I'll need to consult with legal. Wait here. When she left, Nathan and I sat in silence. The air between us crackled with 34 years of complicated history. Why? I finally asked. You really don't know? He turned to face me fully. Do you know what it's like to be the shadow? To have people call you David's brother your entire life? To watch you build SenSync into a billion-dollar company while I bounced from job to job because no one could see past the fact that I wasn't you. I offered you a position. As your employee, your charity case. He laughed. Poor Nathan can't make it on his own, needs his successful brother to hand him a job. It wasn't charity. You're brilliant at sales. When I'm pretending to be you. The words exploded out of him. Do you know how many of your early deals I closed? That meeting with Forrester Industries, that was me. The Samsung partnership, me again. You had the vision, but you couldn't sell water in a desert. So I became you and suddenly, everyone wanted to buy. I stared at him. Those were you? Every time you were sick before a big presentation. Every time you needed someone to fill in at a conference. I was the David Chen who could work a room, who could close a deal with a handshake and a smile. His voice broke. And then you take the credit, take the contracts, take the glory, and I'd go back to being nobody. The revelation hit me like a physical blow. He was right. I built algorithms and platforms, but Nathan had sold them. I created the product, but he created the relationships. I didn't know, I said weakly. Because you never asked. You never wondered how an introverted programmer suddenly became a master networker. You just assumed success was your birthright. Ms. Vasquez returned with 2 other bank officials and a laptop. Mr. Chen, we're willing to reverse the transaction and keep this internal. But there are conditions. What conditions? Your brother must agree to biometric exclusion. He'll be flagged in every financial system in the country. Any attempt to access accounts that aren't his will trigger immediate law enforcement response. He'll also need to sign a confession, sealed unless he attempts this again. And if I refuse? Nathan asked. Federal prison, one of the officials said bluntly. Wire fraud over $1 million is 20 years minimum. Nathan looked at me, and for the first time in years, I couldn't read his expression. There's another option, I said suddenly. Nathan, what if you didn't have to be me anymore? What if you could be yourself, but better? What are you talking about? I turned to Ms. Vasquez. Can you give us 5 minutes alone? She hesitated, then nodded. 5 minutes. When they left, I pulled out my phone and showed Nathan an email I'd been drafting for weeks. I'm spinning off the sales division of SenSync into its own company. I need someone to run it. Someone who understands relationship building, who can read a room, who can close impossible deals. You're offering me another job. I'm offering you a partnership, 50-50 ownership of the new company. Your name on the door, your vision driving it. Not as my brother, not as my employee, but as my equal. Nathan stared at the email. Why would you do this? Because you're right. I couldn't have built SenSync without you. I just didn't realize how much of you was in its foundation. I paused. And because Mom would have wanted us to be partners, not rivals. Mentioning Mom was a low blow. She died when we were 25, still believing her boys would always take care of each other. The cancer had taken her before she could see how far we drifted. She always knew, Nathan said quietly. She used to say I was the sail and you were the anchor. That we needed each other to actually get anywhere. So let's get somewhere, I said. Together this time. No more pretending, no more shadows. Just the Chen brothers, doing what they do best. And what's that? Making the impossible possible. You with people, me with code. Nathan was quiet for a long moment. Then, equal partners. Equal partners. Your name first on the masthead if you want. Chen and Chen Enterprises. Terrible name, I said. We'll workshop it. For the first time since we'd entered the bank, Nathan truly smiled. Not my smile that he practiced, but his own slightly crooked, more genuine. I'll need more than 5 minutes to decide, he said. You'll need less than that if Ms. Vasquez comes back. Nathan stood, straightened his tie, my tie, and nodded. Okay, but I have conditions. Name them. First, I want everything documented. Real contracts, real ownership, not just brotherly promises. Done. Second, I run sales my way. No interference, no second guessing. Agreed. Third, he hesitated. We tell people the truth. All of it. The deals I closed as you, the times you took credit for my work. Clean slate means full disclosure. That would be humiliating. It would mean admitting to investors, partners, and employees that the David Chen they thought they knew was partly fiction. But looking at my brother, really looking at him for the first time in years, I realized humiliation was a small price for redemption. Agreed, I said. Ms. Vasquez knocked and entered. Gentlemen. We'll take your offer, Nathan said. The biometric exclusion, the sealed confession, all of it. And the partnership offer, I added. That's real, documented, legal. She looked between us. You're going into business together. After this. We've been in business together for years, I said. We just didn't know it. The next hour was paperwork and protocols. Nathan's biometric data was captured from every angle, his confession video recorded, the wire transfer reversed. As we signed document after document, I watched him transform from my shadow back into my brother. There is one more thing, Ms. Vasquez said as we prepared to leave. Mr. Nathan Chen, the fake ID you used, we need that. Nathan reached into his wallet and pulled out a driver's license. Perfect replica, down to the holographic seal. But as he handed it over, I noticed something that made me laugh. You got the birthday wrong, I said, pointing to the date. You made yourself 3 minutes older. Nathan shrugged. Always wondered what it would feel like to be the big brother. How was it? Exhausting, he admitted. Being you is hard work. Being me is impossible, I corrected. Even I can't do it alone. We left the bank together, walking into the bright San Francisco afternoon. The city looked different somehow, sharper, like switching from standard definition to 4K. So, Nathan said, Chen and Chen is a terrible name. The worst, I agreed. How about TwinSync? I groaned. Absolutely not. Double Vision Enterprises. Stop. Oh, he snapped his fingers. Gemini Ventures. I paused. In astronomy, Gemini represented the twins Castor and Pollux. Different but inseparable, each incomplete without the other. That's actually not terrible, I admitted. I have my moments, Nathan said, when I'm not committing federal crimes. About that, I said, you're paying me back for the lawyer fees. From my half of the profits. From your half of the profits. We walked in comfortable silence for a block before Nathan spoke again. David, thank you for not letting me destroy myself. That's what brothers do, I said, even when they're idiots. Especially then, he agreed. My phone buzzed. An alert from the bank confirming my account was restored. $1.2 million back where it belonged. But as I looked at my brother, my partner, I realized the number was meaningless. The real fortune was walking beside me, same face, different dreams, finally headed in the same direction. So, Nathan said, when do we tell the board that half of Sensing's biggest deals were closed by the evil twin? Monday, I decided. Let's give them the weekend to enjoy their illusions. And after that, we build something new, something honest, something ours. Together. The word felt like a promise, like coming home, like the moment when two mirrors facing each other create infinite reflections. We weren't the same person, had never been. But maybe that's what made us whole, two halves of something that only worked when both pieces fit. As we walked toward our future, whatever that looked like, I thought about what Ms. Vasquez had said about the biometric system. How it could see differences invisible to the naked eye, unique markers that made us individuals despite our identical DNA. Maybe that's what we needed all along. Someone to look closer, to see past the matching faces to the different men beneath. Or maybe we just needed to stop trying to be one person and accept that we were always meant to be two. Either way, for the first time in 34 years, the Chen twins were finally synced.